Welcome to Whiskey and Wonder.
Hello, friends.
Welcome, everyone.
We are back.
We are episode 92 of Whiskey and Wonder.
Yes, we are. I just realized
this is all effed up.
This is all turned.
Whoops.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so that was Megan's camera we were adjusting. If you're new to Whiskey and Wonder, obviously that's Megan over there since I just said that. And I'm Tyler.
That's Tyler, yeah.
Yep. And we're Whiskey and Wonder, where we drink whiskey every week. We review a different one, and we teach one another about something interesting.
Yeah.
Fun, something we enjoyed learning about. So, yeah, that's what we do here.
It is.
So, if you're a longtime listener, you'll have noticed 2 weeks ago I was not here.
Correct.
And Megan ran the ship and did a fabulous job.
Oh, thank you.
So, shout out to that. And then last week, life just got in the way for both of us, and we were not able to make it here to record. So, you guys got a From the Vault episode. So, it's been a while since both of us have been here. We've been together.
It has been.
For you guys. So,
yeah.
We got a good one for you today.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I hope so. Anyway, before we jump too much further, let's just hit a couple quick announcements. It's basically the same old stuff. Check out the Patreon, whiskeyandwonder.com patreon.com/whiskeyandwonder. Dyslexia, man, it kills you.
Though you can go to whiskeyandwonder.com and find all this information.
Yes, you can. Again, that was patreon.com/whiskeyandwonder. It's got a bunch of different benefits for signing up for the tiers, especially voting on the infinity bottles, which you can see are right above Megan's head on screen. Yep, right there. We've also got, as soon as we get an empty bottle, we're going to wash it out and put scotch in it. I'm keeping a list of scotches that are voted, but, fortunately, we haven't done a ton of scotches lately. So, yep. So check out Patreon. You get some benefits there, especially voting for the infinity bottles, and also check out the store where we have stickers and T-shirts. You can find that at whiskeyandwonder.com/store.
Store.
Yeah, it's store, even though the thing is labeled shop. I should make those the same thing, but store without an H in there. Also, we'll touch a little bit more on this, but check out while you're over at the website, if you want some cool deals on some cool stuff, check out our sponsors page. We've got some partners up there. So, like this lovely Tervis bottle that I take to work every day to drink. Anyway, we'll touch more on that later. Other announcements, I learned that there is a way to sell merchandise on YouTube. So I'm going to try to get our shirts and stickers and whatnot up on the YouTube page. I'm not entirely sure how that's done. I'll have to look into that. You might have to have a certain amount of subscribers and whatnot, which we're trying to get to. We don't have a nice, neat YouTube page. You just got to search YouTube right now for Whiskey and Wonder. You can't just type in youtube.com/Whiskey and Wonder. But the link for that's in the description if you don't feel like actually just searching Whiskey and Wonder.
True.
There's a bunch of other stuff in the show notes down below that you can reach out, find us on Instagram, how to email us, how to contact us, Patreon, YouTube, our website, all that stuff's down below. So, on that note, we're just gonna. I want to take a minute and say thanks to everybody that does support.
Yes. The
podcast. We've noticed some more people are reaching out and supporting, and we really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Everything you do helps out. It just more than you understand. So thank you for everything you do. You're amazing.
Absolutely. And, you guys make this podcast continue.
Yep.
Equipment's not free. Website hosting's not free. Whiskey's not free.
Podcast hosting is not free.
Podcast hosting is not free. That's a
big one.
Yeah. So, all right. On that note, we'll just go ahead and move on.
open segment.
All right. Well, Tyler, I haven't seen you in a hot minute. So how was your vacation? What'd you guys do? What's going on?
Is that why I missed? Did I
Yeah,
go-
you went to Tennessee?
No.
No? Are you sure? I thought you went to see friend John.
No.
No?
I honestly don't remember why I had to miss.
Why did you not? Why were you not here?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I
That's how my life has been going the last month. It's all blending together, and once it's over, it's over.
I swear it was because you were out of.
Oh no, it was okay. It was Labor Day weekend. I was in South Carolina getting. Nah, I didn't really get drunk. I got invited to a good friend that owns the brewery that I work at. Their family puts on a large
That's right.
Labor Day cookout.
You were
And-
the griller.
Yes,
the grill master.
I was helping with that because her father had knee surgery, knee replacement, and wasn't supposed to be walking. Although it wasn't like it was just me. There were about 6 of us, counting him, and we literally roasted 2 turkeys, a leg of venison, and 2 center cut pork loins. Several of which were wrapped in bacon of those items.
Goodness gracious.
Over a spit that was powered by this little motor thing. It was freaking awesome. I learned a lot, but it wasn't like I was driving. I was just a pair of helping hands, and I was very thankful to be a part of it. So thank you. Thank you guys to Steph and her family for having me and Shelby out there. It was fun.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah, we didn't end up getting back that evening until 10:30.
Yeah, we were long gone. I don't know, long gone, but we were gone by the time you guys got back.
Yeah. I also didn't come home that night, so
Oh.
yeah, I stayed at Shelby's. So
Oh.
While I was at this cookout, I met a gentleman who I've met before. He is a friend of the husband, Steph's husband, Andy, that they own the brewery together. He is a friend of Andy's from when they served in the military together. And I've met him at the brewery several times, and he likes his whiskey. He likes. I'll put it this way: at the party, without incriminating anybody or anything, I was just calling somebody the Moonshine Man.
Oh, okay.
So let's
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yep. Let's just leave it there. Now, I started talking with the Moonshine Man, and I'm not going to give his name away. So you know who you are if you're listening. He made this awesome creation that apparently is not his own invention. It was just a recipe he followed. But it was literally like, it wasn't moonshine, but it was a creamsicle mixture of like orange juice and vanilla and several other things with Everclear that it basically tasted like creamsicle moonshine. It was so good, but dangerous. Anyway, so we got to talking about whiskey, and Andy kind of formally introduced us. Like I said, we've met a handful of times, but never sat there and chit-chatted. And we're talking, and he, talking about whiskey, and it comes up that he has his pride and joy in his collection is Rebel Yell from 1969.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I wonder how much that is.
I have no idea. I know how much he got it for. He got it for $30.
Wow.
Yeah. So he told me the story behind it, and I'll save that because it's a little, it's got a little volume behind it, or not volume, but a little length behind it. So anyway, we chatted about it, and I was like, man, one day next year when I come down to this thing, if we're both here, I would love to try it. Honestly, yeah, it would have been awesome to try it. Never in a million years would I have thought I would have actually gotten the opportunity to try it. And so, flash forward to this weekend. Normally, I work Friday nights at the brewery. Every so often, I do events on Saturdays, and it is starting to be fall where we're at right now. Temperatures are starting to come down, so I'm doing a lot more events on Saturdays and less working on Friday nights. And so, I had a terrible day at work on Friday. And I knew it was going to be 50-50 as to whether it was. And I knew I was probably going to end up at the bar just to have a beer. But Andy sent me a text and he's like, hey, the Moonshine Man is coming up and he has something he wants you to try. And I had forgotten all about it. I had forgotten all about the Rebel Yell and whatnot. I was like, okay, cool. And he proceeds to, we go there and we're hanging out we meet and go to the owner's little place. Anyway. Anyway, we go to the owner's place that they've got, and it's a little sneak thing. Anyway, he breaks out a cooler that's got 4 whiskeys in it. And I'm trying. I've got the picture of the first one that he let me try on there, and I did try all 4 of them, but I will be the first one to tell you. Even as soon as he opened the cooler, I said, "Oh, I recognize that bottle." So where are my photos here? Let me get in here. I tried what?
So this whiskey has to be so rare. I'm only finding the empty bottle for sale, and that's still going for $100 because it's the old, like when they sculpted them into like a man riding a horse. And
yeah, he was telling me that the head broke off of the
decanter.
Decanter, yeah, but yeah, it is a unicorn. It is. I will never get to drink it again in my life.
No, that's amazing.
So the first one we started out with was Heaven Hill Green. It's the Heaven Hill old style bourbon. It looks like this. The light's gonna make it so that you guys can't see. Anyway, it looks like that. You can only get this in Kentucky.
Okay.
So it's a 6-year-old bourbon, and it basically it for 6 years old. I think he said you get it for $13 in Kentucky. Damn good. I would drink it. That would be my daily drinker if I was in Kentucky.
$13.
$13. Yep.
Wow.
The second one he pulled out is one that has been featured on Whiskey and Wonder.
Ooh, it's one we did.
Yeah.
All right, Moonshine Man has good taste.
Well, so if you'll remember, last August, 2 Augusts ago, I went out to Wyoming and Montana, and I brought back several bourbons, but one of them was Willie's Distillery's Bighorn Bourbon. We did that in episode 55. And do you want to take a guess at what you rated it?
3.
2.
Oof.
And I rated it a 4.5. So
oof.
I knew what Willie's, I knew what to expect with that. I knew it was kind of middle of the road. Then he pulled out another one we've done on here. This is the bottle I knew. And it was the, no, damn, I don't see it on the list. It was hold on.
Okay. I am holding on.
The Uncle Nearest 1884. Is that which one I've got down there? On the bottom right down there. I couldn't read it.
1884, yeah.
Yep. The 1884, which
small batch.
Yep, we've done. That is allocated, by the way. I did not know that until recently, but I know of a place where I could get it. Where I've seen it on the shelf. So I'm trying to find that on here. Is that actually not that's a Tennessee whiskey. So we did that in episode 31, and both of us, do you remember what we rated it?
7, 8?
Both of us gave it a 7.
Okay.
So that was a good one, and I've seen a bottle of it on the shelf recently, like I said, so I am going to attempt to pick that up
Nice.
tomorrow.
Nice.
And then we get to the main event.
And that's the 1969 whiskey, right?
1969 Rebel Yell. Keep in mind, I've wanted to get Rebel Yell on this podcast for a while. I've heard a lot about it. I've never had it. Modern day Rebel Yell. But I can never find it. I can see where it belongs in the stores, and it's just an empty shelf. So, I don't know what to compare it to today. But I ended up getting to taste it, and you could tell he had brought some Glencairn glasses similar to what I have here if you're on YouTube, and he poured me just the tiniest
Just a little
taste. And I made it count. It was the smoothest whiskey. It by far and away, everything in that cabinet behind Megan, nothing in there is as good as it was.
Really?
Not a single thing. It was the smoothest whiskey I've ever had. I flat out said, I was like, if this is the way liquor tasted in 1969 and earlier, if this is legitimately the way it tasted, I understand why everybody was an alcoholic. I mean, it tasted, I could have drank it like, you know how you go to McDonald's and you get the large cup of soda or the large sweet tea or whatever?
Yeah.
I could have drank a large one of those and I would have been hammered off my ass, but I would have,
Wow.
never once would have regretted it taste or burn wise.
Wow.
It
That's awesome.
It was so good. So we're talking a little bit and he, we're standing there, we're drinking and he pours me a little bit more and he gets a little bit more in that second pour. And so I'm like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I need to just savor
as
this
much
moment.
as you can.
Yep. And so I did. And then I was fortunate enough that he opened the cooler one last time and he goes, which one you want? And I just looked at him. I was like, by this point, I'm feeling pretty good because I hadn't had much to eat that day. And he goes, or I said, you know which one I want. And he goes, yeah. He basically was like, go ahead. Because I was like, I don't want to take more than my fair share.
Yeah, that's it.
And he said, man, here you go. And he poured me another little sliver of it. And man.
Wow.
Oh, it was so good. I wish I could have brought some to share, but I would have probably ended up drinking it. So it was that good.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a fun experience I got in the off times. And I have one more quick, I'll make it quick, open segment topic. I just want to put out there that I am freaking terrified. I'm freaking out right now. I scheduled my dog, Bo, for a teeth cleaning, and it is tomorrow morning, and I am terrified. My dog is not going to come back to me.
He's going to come back.
And
it's going to be okay.
Ever since everything happened last year with me, it's like I just kind of had the realization a couple weeks ago, I guess, just like, oh fuck, he's going under anesthesia. Like he might not wake up from this. Like I'm not ready to lose my dog. So I've been wrestling and debating about canceling it ever since then. And I ended up not doing it. But anyway, so yeah, I got to take him out there to that tomorrow morning I got to be there at like 8. And I will be stopping at the ABC store near his vet because I know from when he got bit on the nose recently that they have the Uncle Nearest 1884 on the shelf, or they had. So, but yep, that's what's been going on in my life.
Wow.
Everything else has just been a blur.
Well, I'll try to keep my open segment short.
Yep, sorry, mine was long.
That's all right. There was a lot to catch up on. I still have a squishy brain.
Don't we all?
The doctor currently has me down to only working 4 hours a day, which has not been the most fun. And that's going to last for at least another week before I go back. Houston woke up today sick as a dog, so but COVID negative so far. So there's that. And then I got to try a really nice whiskey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. On Friday. On Friday.
This Friday,
Yeah. Like
like in the evening,
2 days ago. No, well, kinda afternoonish.
like 4,
Yeah, probably
5-ish. Yeah.
probably 4ish.
About the same. Okay, you're about an hour ahead of me. So about the same time.
You were trying yours.
I was trying. Yep.
So I have a friend. Shout out to friend Stephanie, who I know listens to the podcast. So hello, friend Stephanie. She does want to be on here eventually because she's a huge whiskey fan and she collects whiskey as well. Her and her husband do.
Well, bring us something lovely.
And
I'm just
so
kidding. We'd love to have you.
I went over to her house to help her plug logs. So basically, I had no idea what that was, but it's basically planting mushrooms. So we drilled holes in like logs, and then we like put these mushroom bullet things in the logs with a hammer, covered them with wax, and they're supposed to like grow out these edible mushrooms. It was a lot of fun.
Like psychedelic mushrooms, or
no,
like chicken of the woods.
Chicken out of the woods.
Okay.
Black oyster, I think one of them was called. It was all like food
Got
mushrooms.
yeah, like
not,
edible.
Yes, not drugs. Not
okay.
drugs.
You never know nowadays.
I mean, that's true, but no, not drugs. But after we finished, we went back up to her house, and she was like, "Do you want to have like a sip of some whiskey?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And she like opened her cabinet, and she has all sorts of very nice, very pricey whiskey. And so I was like, "I'm not picking one because those are all expensive. So you just grab whatever you want." And so she took out the Uncle Nearest 1820.
I've actually had that one as well.
Have you?
Yeah.
was
Is it
very good.
1820 or 1920?
1820, I am pretty sure. I think.
I just want to see because I know they make another one. They make the 1884. They make an 1856.
I think it was 1820.
They do make an 1820. You're right. Oh, I've never seen the 1820. Ooh.
Yes.
All right. How was it?
It was very good.
Yeah?
Yes. It was very good. So that was exciting. And that's my exciting whiskey news, I guess. I got to try something that apparently Tyler hasn't tried.
What it taste like?
Delicious. A little more on the Scotch side. So a little bit more peaty. But it was very woodsy and earthy. Really nice compliment to having been in the forest all day planting mushrooms. It was nice.
Okay, so 1820 is the single barrel edition of which oh, that's funny because that's a high proof. It says on the picture I see here 60.6, 121. We got something that's
Real high today.
oh yeah.
Real high.
We're revving up the engines. I'm excited. Megan's not.
Nope. But I really enjoyed the Uncle Nearest. I didn't
Yeah?
even look at the proof. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, it was.
that's good.
It burned, but it was smooth. So
that's good. That's awesome. I'm curious to. I'm sorry. I haven't had the 1820. I've had the 1856. When we did go to Nashville and saw Shelby's brother John 5. He had that one as well. He's the one that originally turned me on to the 1884, and he had the 1856, and we both agree the 84 is better, in our opinion. So, all right, well, that's what we've been up to for 2 weeks. That and just life blending together, and can't remember what we're doing.
true.
So, we'll go ahead and open that bottle.
Opening the bottle.
So this is going to be a reference for all those people that are about our age that grew up with SpongeBob. You know that episode of SpongeBob where they have the band and they're about to go on and he's like pumping his arms back and forth and
Yes.
his tongue's waggling. It's like that's his excited face.
Yes.
That's me right now inside.
All
My
right.
excited face is on.
And you have not tried this one.
I opened the bottle to smell it, but I have not tried it.
Okay. I'm excited and scared, terrified. We are drinking today Jack Daniel's single barrel proof
Yes,
whiskey.
I was able to find it at that same ABC store. That's why I didn't come home with the Uncle Nearest the first time. And this bad mama jamma, 129.0 proof.
Whew. So,
This is the highest we've ever done.
yes, it is. It might be the highest we ever do. I don't know if you can get much higher.
I've got one that gives it a run for its money in there.
Oof. Okay.
I've
Well,
actually tried that one, and you'll be shocked.
okay.
You might be shocked with this one.
I mean, we'll see.
Based off of the other one, I don't know.
We'll see. From Jack Daniel's website, the tagline for this is Whiskey as Nature Intended It. Bottled straight from the barrel at its full proof. Intense, smooth, and remarkably varied, barrel proof is bottled anywhere between 125 and 140 proof. Taking Jack's trademark flavors to bold new levels.
So we can go higher.
Yep, we can get to at least 140 in this guy.
I do want to take 1 minute. I did misspeak there. I have had this. I had a very, very small amount of it when Shelby and John and
Papa
Brandy.
Manning? No, Brandy.
Brandy, her sister-in-law, all went to the Jack Daniel's distillery. They did give us a little taste of this. So
Oh, nice.
I apologize. I said I had never had it. I have. I don't remember it. And this is, if you will remember back, while Megan's smelling it here, if you'll remember back to, I think I'm going to take these Tennessee ones out and put them back, into bourbon. Anyway, episode number 71, we did the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select that was picked by the NC. It was a store pick from the NC Bourbon Society. And Megan and I, Megan gave it an 8.5. I gave it an 8. That was the only one I've ever had that I smelt bananas and banana bread.
Yeah,
This is the single barrel version
of that.
of that. Which technically, I guess that barrel pick is a barrel select is a single barrel too. But
Yeah. Well, speaking of Tennessee whiskey and bourbon, while not labeled bourbon, most Tennessee whiskeys meet the criteria required to be called bourbon. After distillation, Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey undergoes what is referred to as the Lincoln County process. In the case of Jack Daniel's, it drips for 6 days in 10-foot vats, passing through charcoal that was made by burning maple wood that had been impregnated with 140 proof Jack Daniel's whiskey before being put in new charred oak barrels and aged for an estimated 4 to 7 years. Jack Daniel's pulls barrels from the upper level of the rickhouse for their single barrel bottlings, with the barrel proof version being released in varying proofs ranging from 125 to 140. This is the first time that Jack Daniel's has offered their single barrel product to the public in barrel strength form.
so I just made an executive decision, and I took the previous Jack Daniel's on our website, on our Whiskeys We've Tried page, and I put it at the bottom with all the other style whiskeys, where I have all the other Tennessee whiskeys, instead of putting the Tennessee whiskeys under bourbons, because technically
They're not, even though they could be
considered.
called so.
Yep, they're called Tennessee whiskeys. So
Correct.
it says it on the bottle.
All right. So for those of you guys who haven't listened forever, I started off as a Jack drinker. Before I really got into the world of whiskey, I just thought all whiskey was Jack Daniel's. And this very much smells like that kind of distinct Jack smell with some hints of like bananas Foster. Again, banana. I don't understand what Jack Daniel's is doing that there's banana in here, but there's banana.
Well, they're putting bananas in it. Duh.
No, apparently. It smells like runts. Banana runts.
Yeah, that's exactly what the other one smelled like to me.
This one smells like
They're
runts.
like banana Laffy Taffy, like
Yeah.
banana bread and banana flavored candy.
Yeah.
That's what it brought back to my memory. I'm gonna sniff on this for another minute or two. I got a lot of vanilla
Yes.
and a little bit of spice.
I think that's typical Jack Daniels is very vanilla, very oak, some spice.
All right. I wasn't getting the banana the first couple times I smelled it, but I did get it that time again. It makes me think of a Laffy Taffy, banana flavored Laffy Taffy. This
which
one
is Brunson chewy form.
yeah, basically. This is not as potent of a banana flavor or banana smell as the other one that we did in episode 71, but it is noticeably there.
This smells hot. That smells spicy.
It's got a little bit of a cinnamon kind of
yeah.
burn your nose hair smell to it.
All right, so I'm getting banana, I'm getting vanilla and oak.
Oh, I forgot to say one more thing that happened in life, but that's fine. I'll talk about it next week.
Okay. Oh man. All right.
Yeah.
It smells good, but I'm scared.
I'm going look, I try to get three smells off the nose, and I'm going banana, vanilla, and cinnamon.
Okay.
Those are my three that I'm getting off this. I'm happy if I can get three.
I'll go banana, vanilla, oak, and heat. Spicy heat. We are supposed to be smelling a combination of maple sugar candy and bananas. Burnt wood. The alcohol is noticeable. It's rich and inviting. So maple sugar candy, bananas, burnt wood, and alcohol. So all right. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely get the alcohol smell. I definitely get the bananas and the sweetness. Burnt wood.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's so
okay.
spicy.
Okay, it's very subtly there. I haven't tried it yet. I was going to let Megan get in there and get the first try.
It burns. It burns a lot. It's still burning. It burns on my tongue. The burn's going away.
At first, I was like, "Man, this is not that big a deal," and then
it like punches you.
It sends a fist back up your esophagus to hit
It's
you in
like-
the back of the mouth.
You said what, motherfucker?
Oh man, that is.
Woof.
Oh, I don't know how to describe that. Well, let me say it this way. While I was talking with the Moonshine Man, and we were tasting whiskeys the other day, he made a comment of, "Do you feel how it feels a little oily in your mouth?" And that was the first time I had ever been
Associated with oil?
well, I've heard people, I've read reviews that said this was an oily mouth feel, or it had a little bit, but it was the first time I could ever associate it with something in my mouth. This leaves an oily feel in my mouth. It's an oily flavor, kind of. It's an oily feel. It's not, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. It just, that's what it's very woody, very, and that flavor, just the texture of it's oily, and that wood as it sits on your tongue and you salivate, just kind of puts that oily feel back in your mouth again.
You are so right. I had to take a sip after you said that because I'm like, oil. But you're so right. That's exactly what it feels like. Which is a weird sensation.
Second sip was not
As bad.
not nearly as bad,
No.
which
It's pretty normal, I feel like. Like, once you have that initial, like, pow, like, you start getting used to it.
it's making me salivate like crazy, though.
Oh, yeah. I'm over here, like,
Oh, yeah. No, sorry, guys, if you're hearing that in the microphones. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It is very, very woodsy. Like licking a log,
A mushroom-filled log.
a mushroom-filled log. It is very charcoal, very burnt wood, but then
I don't get much charcoal in it.
no?
No, I think that's just probably the alcohol.
Okay. I mean, I'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just personally, I'm not getting much charcoal. I just,
Wow. Now that you've said oil, like that's
it's
such a
it's
good
amazing.
descriptor. That's such a good descriptor.
It's amazing. You see it and you're like, yeah, okay, I would know that when I taste it. And then when somebody says, yeah, that's oil, and you've got it in your mouth, you're like, oh my God, that's
yeah,
it.
it is.
Yeah.
So very woodsy, I would say. A little bit tobacco-y, but then very Jack Daniels, vanilla, yummy caramel.
I'm going to tell you, it took me until the third sip before I could taste any kind of sweetness, really, any sort of noticeable flavors in it. And it, other than that woody, oily, any of that vanilla sweetness that they were referring to. So, that's interesting. I think I know where this one would fit in my repertoire, but I'm gonna.
Well, I've gotta wait and see.
Yep, I'm gonna let it go. The whole time.
Vanilla, caramel, wood, fucking banana. I don't understand, but banana.
You taste the banana in this?
I taste the banana. Banana.
The nanner?
The nanner. I'll taste the nanner. It took me probably 5 sips to get to the banana, but now I definitely taste the banana. And I would say after like it's out of my mouth, and I still it like coats your mouth in like an oil. But if I move my tongue in my mouth like up and down without anything in it, I have like banana leftovers. Yeah.
I can maybe see that if I try really hard, but for the most part, the leftover I get is like that woody. Like I said, maybe I don't know. I'm salivating a lot from this.
Yeah.
But,
I am very curious to see how this goes.
Wow.
As we continue sipping it.
All right. Well.
Oh, I should probably say we're supposed to be.
Oh yeah,
real
duh.
quick.
Yeah, I'm about to move on. Go on.
Chocolatey sweet caramel, burnt wood, pipe tobacco, bananas, nuttiness, spice, maple sugar candy, medium weight mouthfeel, and the finish is where the heat kicks in, ramping up to a spicy burn.
Well, so there is one more in this trifecta that I intend on us doing here. And perhaps on that day, we could recreate the tasting I did at Jack Daniels because
Oh, that'd be nice.
we have 2 of the 3. The other one is the single barrel rye and regular Jack Daniels. That was the 4 we tasted. And I do remember which one I liked the best of the 3.
You gonna tell us, or you gonna make us wait?
I don't know. How bad do you want to know?
I don't know. I guess make us wait. Make us wait.
Dun, dun, dun. To be continued. All right. So, on that note, we're
I
good
just
to
made
move
myself
on.
so dizzy.
Yeah, but
Yep.
so go check out the video for that. Megan's headbanging over here. So we're good to move on.
Yep. I'm ready.
All right. Real quick, I just want to take a minute. I forgot to say this earlier. Make sure you go out, like and subscribe us on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. That helps us as well as monetary donations.
Much.
Now, on that note, Megan, do you want to talk about our partners?
Yep.
Yes, she does. She just completely forgot.
Sure do.
All right, so I'll start while Megan's pulling her thing up. Which one do you here? I bet you don't have one for this guy.
I don't have one written for that.
All right,
Yeah,
that's
you're
fine.
right.
I'll talk about this. This is my Tervis tumbler, and I take it with me every single day to work. It is insulated. You can get non-insulated ones. This keeps my water cold when I'm out working in the field. It's got a heck of a loop. It's super secure. It's got a little mouth hole, and then I can open it up. I'm sorry, I'm not on camera. It's got a little mouth hole. I can open it up here. They make all sorts of different kind of tumblers that anybody can use. And they actually have various promotions going on. I don't remember exactly what the last one is. It's some kind of like bestsellers, something or another. I'd have to pull up the email to look at. But you can go to whiskeyandwonders.com/sponsors and click on the, it's the Star Wars Mandalorian logo there. They've got some Mandalorian cups that came out. And since we're both, we're huge Star Wars fans.
I am still a huge Star Wars fan.
I know. We haven't really talked about that. I've decided I'm done with it. They're milking it, and it's not at all what it used to be. So I'm done with it.
I can't talk to you about that right now.
Okay. Well, anyway, we have these
have enough time.
Awesome Tervis tumblers. The link to it is up there on whiskeyandwonder.com/sponsors. So I love mine. I use it every single day when I'm at work. I know you'll love yours, and it's a fraction of the cost of the competition. So.
All right. Nice, Tyler. Do you want me to read another one?
Yeah, go right ahead. Take it away.
Okay. Your privacy matters, which is why we've partnered with NordVPN to keep our podcast friends safer on the internet. Using NordVPN keeps your browsing and information private while giving you access to an encrypted cloud to store your files and generating special passwords to make getting hacked nigh impossible. We love NordVPN because of how much their service helps us during our Wonder research. Using NordVPN allows us to access streaming services across the globe, letting us watch documentaries that aren't currently available to American servers. With a click of a button, NordVPN can make it appear as if I'm in the UK, allowing me to access the European library on Netflix. Tune in to episode 45 of Whiskey and Wonder to learn about the importance of cybersecurity and get a whopping 68% off a 2-year subscription of NordVPN at
whiskeyandwonder.com/sponsors.
Yay!
Give a round of applause for a couple of our partners. Yeah, that was awesome. I had no idea. I had a line at the end of that. I was checking my fantasy football score. That's why there was that awkward pause.
And on that note.
Yep. Whoops.
Opening the bottle.
Wrong one.
It's been a couple weeks, guys.
It's been a couple weeks, and this is 129 proof.
It's time for the Wonder segment.
I would be lying if I said I'm not a little buzzed right now.
Have you not had anything to eat today?
I have, but it was like 11 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe noon. So yeah, I'm feeling it a little bit. So today we're gonna hop into the way back machine and we're gonna head back to pre-revolutionary times.
Oh wow.
Oh, let me change that over there.
We're going a long way back.
Oh yeah, we got to fill her up.
Okay.
All right. We're going to talk about one of the events in the U.S. that helped change many colonists from pro-British to anti-British.
Ooh.
A significant event that sparked many other significant events. Today we're going to learn about the Boston Massacre, or as the Brits call it, the incident on King Street. Dun, dun, dun. In the early 1770s, tensions were running very high in the city of Boston. The city was being occupied by more than 2,000 British troops who were there for basically the sole purpose of enforcing Britain's tax laws on the nearly 16,000 colonists who were living in Boston at the time. If you remember from your old U.S. history class, the Stamp Act and the Townshend Act were two of the taxation laws that were passed by the British Parliament that these soldiers were expected to enforce. So let's examine these acts a little closer for those people who, like me, don't remember what these acts did. I did not like U.S. history in high school.
If you could look at yourself now.
Oh, I would give myself a wedgie. I'd like the whiskey part. Anyway, the Stamp Act of 1765 was one of the first taxes that the British Parliament chose to impose on American colonists. and it placed a tax on all paper documents in the colonies. The reason for this comes from the late 1750s and early 1760s when the 7 Years' War was fought between France and Britain. It was basically fought over who would control most of, at the time, the known area in North America. Well, as per a lot of wars back then, Britain ended up winning, and they gained possession of Canada, in addition to what would become the future U.S. colonies that they already controlled. Britain was left with a hefty debt from this war, which had mostly benefited the colonists as they had spent the last 80 years fighting the French off and on. Because of this, the British Parliament decided that the colonists... Are you raising your hand?
No, I'm playing. I have
okay.
a squishy to.
I thought I saw your hand like go up like this.
No, sorry. My bad.
No, you're good. Because of this, the British Parliament, or because they had spent the last 80 years, the colonists had spent the last 80 years fighting the French off and on. Because of this, the British Parliament decided that the colonists should help pay for the war, and the Crown began tightening the reins and enforcing some taxes that they had just been pretty lax about collecting on traded goods that were entering the colonies. In 1765, Parliament passed the Stamp Act, which was the first tax act, like I said earlier, that directly taxed the colonists and not goods. The Stamp Act required that all legal documents and printed material bear a stamp, and a tax would be collected in order to receive this stamp. The new law applied to things like newspapers, wills, deeds, pamphlets, and even things like playing cards and dice, because apparently those are printed dice. They must have 3D printers. Since the colonists had no representation, this was met with heated objections. I think I got Megan on that last one. It took her a second. It was like a delayed
took me
reaction.
a minute, but then I got it. Sorry. I'm sure if you're on YouTube, you can see like the progression in my face where I'm like, what? Oh, ha 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 ha.
That's what I saw out of the corner of my eye. So, since the colonists had no representation, it was met with, this decision was met with heated objections, but Parliament pretty much gave them the middle finger and said, fuck you, we don't care. Once the law was implemented, colonists showed their displeasure by reprinting Patrick Henry's series of resolutions that he submitted to his colony's government. These resolutions denied Parliament's right to tax the colonies and called for the colonists, oh, that was a loud S there, called for the colonists to resist the Stamp Act. There's too many S's. Once this message got into the newspapers throughout the colonies, the radical message quickly spread, and soon Congress and other colonial political groups were attempting to politically end the Stamp Act. But your average colonist, they were taking matters into their own hands.
We got this.
Andrew Oliver, who was Boston's stamp distributor at the time, was forced into resigning when a mob led by the Sons of Liberty paraded through the streets with a life-size dummy of Oliver. The mob proceeded to hang the dummy, behead it, and then they raided Oliver's home.
Dude was just trying to do his job, man.
Yep, for real, but they didn't want him to do his job. They said, fuck your job.
Oof.
Mobs also began waiting in ports for ships that were carrying stamp papers from England, and they would basically force these ships to turn back around without unloading any of their cargo or getting any goods or supplies for the trip back. Like, sorry, pal, you're on your own. These scenes played out all over the colonies, resulting in most stamp distributors having resigned by early 1766. And later in 1766, the act was repealed. But Parliament didn't lose faith. And shortly thereafter, they passed the Declaratory Act of 1766, which legally gave them the authority to tax the American colonies just as they would tax people in Britain. So basically, they had the power to legalize what they were already doing that was illegal and did so. So, the Stamp Act showed the first real display of how rowdy the colonists could get, but it was certainly not the last. The next occurred about a year later when Parliament passed the Townshend Act of 1767. The Townshend Acts, which went into effect on November 20th, 1767, began taxing goods that were imported into the American colonies, again without offering the colonists any representation. Since the Stamp Act was still fresh in everyone's memory, the colonists were not happy. The main items taxed were tea, glass, lead paints, and paper. These goods were specifically chosen because Benjamin Franklin informed Parliament that the colonists would start producing their own goods rather than pay taxes on imported items from Britain, and Parliament knew that it would be very hard for the colonists to produce these items. So, you can't make it, so we're going to sell it to you and tax you on it. Haha, go fuck yourself.
That didn't work for them.
Parliament actually expected that tea would be the most profitable by a large margin of all these commodities. The revenue that was raised by the Townshend Act was used to pay colonial judges, governors, and other politicians to ensure that the American government would remain loyal to Britain. So basically, they were taking the money that they were making off of this stuff and said, we're going to pay you, the people that run the government here, so that you stay loyal to us, while average person, they can get shitted on.
Well,
what else has changed?
Clearly, right. But clearly that worked for them.
Yeah. So the Americans didn't take too kindly to this. And again, within a few short weeks, were circulating propaganda, this time in a series of pamphlets. These included the Massachusetts Circular Letter, which was written by Samuel Adams and James Otis Jr., and letters from a farmer in Pennsylvania, written by Pennsylvania legislator John Dickinson. And I want to read that last one again. This is a Pennsylvania legislator, a politician, and he wrote letters from a farmer in Pennsylvania. I want to illustrate the point that these people were not career politicians. They did not want to be into politics. They wanted to be farmers.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yep.
do with that information what you will. Within a few weeks, the colonists took matters into their own hands by boycotting British goods. This was largely organized by the Sons of Liberty and resulted in there being very little money used to keep the American government loyal to the crown. I also want to note that the Sons of Liberty are also the same group who created the saying, no taxation without representation.
I've heard that.
I have too. One of the few things I remember from U.S. history. Oh, man, it caught me off guard. Oh, boy, it caught me off guard there. Anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I definitely got some chocolate in that, though. As interesting as it is, Megan is like, I don't believe you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It caught me so off guard. I can taste chocolate. Anyway, while Megan's over there trying to figure that out. Soon, several colonies had agreed to stop boycotting all British goods with the exception of a small handful of necessities for 1 year. In response to the colonists getting a little spicy again, Britain decided it was time to send the military over to put those Yanks in their place. By 1769, more than 2,000 troops had arrived in Boston in order to, quote, restore order, end quote.
Yeah, I'm sure.
As I mentioned earlier, only around 16,000 people lived in Boston, so 1 out of every 8 people in Boston was a British soldier, basically. Multiple minor confrontations began occurring between the British soldiers and the colonists, and also between pro-British colonists, aka loyalists, and patriot colonists, setting the stage for the Boston Massacre.
Massacre?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the evening of March 5th, 1770, as Private Hugh White and some other soldiers stood guarding the customs house on King Street. Wow, that was not a complete sentence.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. There was no ass. On the evening of March 5th, 1770, Private Hugh White and some other soldiers stood guarding the customs house on King Street. There we go. I just added a word. Inside was the king's money collected via the freshly imposed taxes. Well, as it would happen on the snowy evening, a few angry colonists chose to join Private White on King Street. It all started when a 13-year-old wig maker's apprentice, and let me just say, what a job.
Wig maker apprentice.
What a job.
Wow, man.
Anyway, this 13-year-old kid named Edward Garrick called out to a British captain lieutenant named John Goldfinch, and he accused him of refusing to pay a bill that was due to his wig maker the previous day. I guess this is equivalent of not paying your barber or hairstylist nowadays.
Wigs are fucking expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know how expensive they were back in the day, but today good wigs are like,
Yeah, but that was
Damn.
like the style. You know, like you had to get your wig powdered, and if you were doing anything of importance, now people go get their hair cut and they get all jizzed up for.
jizzed up.
Yep, I'm gonna invent that.
Jizzed up, Tyler.
Yep, they get all jizzed up. Everybody out there going to get their hair cut for something important, you're getting jizzed up. Deal with it.
We're going to get jizzed up when you put me in a pink dress.
Oh yeah, one of these days. You're getting jizzed up. I'm not. Anyway.
I don't even know where I was going with the wig thing.
How it's related, how it's like the equivalent of not paying your barber nowadays.
I feel like it's more, I mean, not pay your barber, guys, but I feel like this is more expensive than your barber would be today.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that's like that was your hairstyle. You wore a wig when you needed to go somewhere nice. Like everybody had a wig
Okay.
because their hair was shit.
And lice infested.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, man. Okay.
Anyway, Goldfinch ignored the kid as he had actually paid the bill the previous day, but White told the kid that he should be more respectful to the other or to the officer. Insults were exchanged, and Garrick, this 13-year-old kid, began poking his finger into Goldfinch's chest. You better not fucking say that to me, boy. Anyway. Actually, I said that it was the kid that was doing it. Anyway, White left.
Was it the kid?
Yeah, the kid was poking into the soldiers.
Like chest?
Yeah, don't you tell me what to
Fuck
do,
you,
you fucking
motherfucker.
Brit bitch. Anyway. I'm
Just
sure,
like that.
I'm sure that was the language,
Exchanged.
language exchanged. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Anyway, so Garrick began poking Goldfinch in the chest with his finger. White left his post and hit Garrick in the head with his musket, knocking him to the ground. Garrick's companion began arguing loudly with White, which began to draw a larger crowd than what was already there. Henry Knox, who would later be a general in the Revolution, came upon the scene and told White, quote, "If he fired, he must die for it," end quote.
But he didn't fire.
We'll see.
Oh, okay.
Well, as we discussed, tensions were high between the colonists and the British troops. So before long, the crowd had grown and gotten more rowdy, and church bells, which were usually reserved for, fires, were ringing, alerting other colonists that something was happening.
And so everyone was being a looky-loo, like, hey, there's a fire?
Everybody poured out. The crowd of around 50 quickly began throwing snowballs, stones, and other objects at White.
Snowballs.
It was a snowy evening, so they all began throwing snowballs, stones, and other objects at White, who had scampered up the stairs of the customs house to a safer location, and they were all daring him to fire his weapon. Shoot me, bitch. You won't. No balls. That's basically what they were doing. And I'm going to throw a snowball at you. Around this time, White was able to send a runner to alert Captain Thomas Preston, the officer of the nearby barracks, that he needed backup.
These colonists. Nope, that's not the right accent. Never mind. Go away.
Golly.
Not
These
even-
here colonists need something put up their ass. Anyway.
Yep, wrong accent. I'm not going to try that again.
Yeah,
Never
anyway.
mind.
Anyway, Preston dispatched 6 privates and 1 non-commissioned officer who were all armed with muskets and fixed bayonets to join, and then he joined them himself. The soldiers pushed through the crowd where Henry Knox grabbed Preston and said, quote, For God's sake, take care of your men. If they fire, you must die. To which Preston responded, I am aware of it. So these people were as rigid as fucking boards when it comes to speaking. Also, Henry Knox, can you say anything other than if they fire, you must die?
No.
Apparently not. By this time, the crowd had grown to a few hundred colonists, so the soldiers formed a semicircle behind Preston on the steps of Common House, of the Commons, not Common House, damn, I typed the wrong word, the Customs House. The hell is wrong with me? Anyway, they formed a semicircle.
Do you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
We'd be here a while. Everything.
Yeah, I know. So the soldiers formed a semicircle behind Preston on the steps of the customs house and loaded their muskets. Preston ordered the crowd to disperse. However, they continued spitting at the soldiers, hurling stones and snowballs, yelling at them to fire. Local innkeeper Richard Palms, who was carrying a cudgel, which is, as I learned, a type of stick, went up to Preston, and he asked if the soldiers' weapons were loaded, to which Preston replied, yes, they were, but that they would not fire unless he ordered them to, and that he was unlikely to do so since he was standing in front of them. Despite this, one of the soldiers was then struck in the head with an object which knocked him down and caused him to drop his musket. The soldier's name was Private Hugh Montgomery. Montgomery then retrieved his weapon and shouted, quote, damn you, fire.
Oof.
And then fired his weapon into the crowd, despite Preston never giving the order. Palms swung his cudgel at Montgomery and hit his arm. He then swung at Preston and narrowly missed his head and hit his arm. After a momentary pause, the soldiers began sporadically firing into the crowd instead of all at once, since Preston never gave the order to fire. Keep in mind, these are also muskets, so, they take a little bit of time to reload. It's not a semi-automatic firearm. In total, 11 people were hit, with 3 dying instantly.
Ooh.
Mariner James Caldwell, rope maker Samuel Gray, and a mixed race former slave named Crispus Attucks, who had been one of the first colonial instigators after the initial attack on Garrick, were the 3 that died instantly. 17-year-old Samuel Maverick, who was an apprentice ivory turner, was struck by a ricochet and died the following morning. Irish immigrant Patrick Carr was hit in the abdomen and died 2 weeks later. Christopher Monk was seriously wounded and crippled. He would die almost a decade later due to the injuries he sustained during the attack. So the crowd dispersed away from the customs house, but continued to grow in nearby streets. So they basically went a couple blocks over and got more people involved. Preston immediately called the rest of the regiment out to take up defensive positions in front of the customs house. The acting governor, Thomas Hutchinson, was summoned to the scene, and he was able to restore order by promising the crowd that there would be a fair inquiry into the shootings if they dispersed, and this appeased the crowd enough so that they went about their business, I guess, because they dispersed. The investigation began immediately and resulted in Preston and the 8 soldiers being arrested the following morning. Many significant Boston patriots asked the governor to order all British troops be moved out of the city to this place called Castle Island so that a town meeting could be held to discuss what had happened. But unfortunately, the governor did not have the ability to order the troops to move. And the commander of the troops, Lieutenant Colonel William Dalrymple.
What?
Dalrymple. Dalrymple? Dalrymple.
Dalrymple.
Dalrymple, yeah. William Dalrymple did not offer to move the troops. Because of this, the town meeting, which apparently went on anyways, quickly and unanimously agreed to request that the troops be moved permanently. It became apparent that if the troops were not moved, the citizens would likely take matters into their own hands and rebel and attempt to force them out of the town. The soldiers were then transferred to Castle Island a week later, after Patrick Carr died from his wounds. Now, that name's going to come up again. Patrick Carr, there's a reason. I keep mentioning him. As for the results of the investigation, on March 27th, Captain Preston, the 8 soldiers, and another 4 civilians who were inside the customs house and have found to have fired shots as well, were all indicted for murder. When the trials occurred a few months later, the Massachusetts government was determined to give the soldiers a fair trial in order to avoid retaliation from the British. Several loyalist lawyers refused to defend Preston for this very reason, resulting in prominent patriot John Adams agreeing to defend the soldiers, interestingly enough. I don't know if that was a cover for him or if he just believed in a fair trial or wanted to ensure that the trial was fair or what, but he defended him. The trial began on November 27th, 1770, where Adams argued that the soldiers had the legal right to fight back against the mob since they were essentially cornered and were being provoked. But it was Patrick Carr's deathbed account. Of the incident that played a critical role in the decision. And I'm going to read the testimony of John Jeffries, who was the surgeon who was caring for Carr after he was injured and as he died. Question: were you Patrick Carr's surgeon? Answer: I was. Question: was he, Carr, apprehensive of his danger? Answer: he told me he was a native of Ireland and that he had frequently seen mobs and soldiers called upon to quell them. He had seen soldiers often fire upon the people in Ireland, but had never seen them bear half so much before they had fired in his life. Question: when had you the last conversation with him? Answer: about 4:00 in the afternoon preceding the night on which he died, and he then particularly said he forgave the man, whoever he was, that shot him. He was satisfied he had no malice, but fired to defend himself. The jury decided to acquit all those involved after deliberating for 2.5 hours. 2 soldiers were found guilty of manslaughter, as there was overwhelming evidence that they fired directly into the crowd. These 2 soldiers would ultimately plead benefit of clergy, which, from what I gathered, was at that time you could be tried by a religious court instead of a court of law in English law somehow. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how that worked, but apparently that was an option in 1700s English law.
Okay.
So this actually resulted in their sentences being reduced from death to a branding of the thumb, which is similar to like the Yakuza, where they cut the pinky off.
Okay.
You brand the thumb with a brand, and it is there to signify that you committed a violent crime. Obviously, things weren't peachy after the Boston Massacre. Investigation was wrapped up, though. In fact, this event is considered to be one of the most significant events during the Revolutionary period of history, as it united most colonists against King George III and British Parliament. Despite occurring 5 years prior to the start of the war, the Boston Massacre inspired many other patriot acts, such as the Boston Tea Party and the Gaspee Affair. John Adams even wrote, quote, "The foundation of American independence was laid on March 5th, 1770. End quote.
Wow.
So, that is the story of the Boston Massacre.
Wow. I didn't know, or I might have known some of that in high school, but I didn't know any of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That was good job. Good job, Tyler.
Thanks.
Have one of these. Nope. There we go.
Well, thank you. All right, guys. Well, on that note, we're gonna move it on. I'm gonna preface this by saying I've had one trivia with Tyler in the queue for a while, and it was due to be next week's.
Mm-hmm.
but I think it fits so well, I'm going to bump it up.
Okay.
Trivia with Tyler.
Of course, my phone reset and went way far away from it, but that's fine. I'll find it real quick. Don't worry. Don't
All right.
you worry. All right, here we go. Oh, never mind. I lied. It was about a different war. I thought it was about the Brits in a different war. I thought it was the Revolutionary. It is not. So we get what we
get what we get.
We get what we get. Now, I do need something else though. I need to go back in our episodes
Okay.
and see when we did one. You did one a long time ago on octopuses. Octopuses.
Octopuses?
Yes. Yes. I
Oh,
don't
a long
remember when
time
that
ago.
was. Yes. That was episode 22.
Oh my
So,
God.
octopuses have copper-based blood rather than iron-based blood. You might have taught us that. That makes their blood blue in color. And incidentally, they have 3 hearts with which to pump the blood.
I think I did teach you guys
I
that.
think you might have.
I think I did.
But that's a reminder
Hey,
for Trivia with Tyler.
go listen to that episode because it was fun AF.
Yes, episode 22.
Final thoughts.
All right, so I didn't get to drink but once or twice, and I talked about it on air. You guys heard I got a little
You
bit
got
of
chocolate, which was weird. I have not gotten any chocolate yet. Because of the proof of this one, I've been trying to pace myself. So I don't have a lot left, but I would say I have more left than I normally do at this point.
I poured very small amounts for us today. So, smaller than usual. So,
You added a few water drops, I see.
yes, I did. I have not tried it yet.
I just totally missed the bowl glass thing. All right, I'm swirling my water, and I'm looking at Tyler's face, and he says he finished it. No, he didn't. There's still stuff in there. And, contemplative face.
It definitely, yeah. It brought brought some bitterness out, and it brought the spice out.
Whoa,
Yeah, I would not recommend with water.
no water. Don't do it.
Would not recommend with water.
Oh, my
Lord.
face. My face is stuck like this.
It's almost making me tear up.
Oh, that was rough.
I guess I'm a weenie. Oh, some people probably love this stuff. Man,
That's
with
hard.
water, that was oof.
That is,
I wish I had finished it all.
man.
I have another sip of it left.
Yeah, I got some more too. Do not really recommend with water unless you are like a masochist or, I guess
If you like high proof, you go right ahead.
Yeah.
Add a little water. It'll give you a little more burn with it.
oh,
Although
man.
it wasn't as bad that time. I shot it that time. Got more flavor shooting it.
And still
less
is bad when you sip it. Yeah, don't sip it if you
Yeah.
have water.
Well, I said it early, and I'm going to stick with it. I know where this would fit in my repertoire.
Your repertoire of all of the whiskeys or in just the Jack lineup? Or I guess both. But what are you talking about?
In the cabinet, like in my
Okay,
collection,
and
in
all
my-
of your whiskeys.
Yeah.
Is it, well, where is it in your repertoire?
It is it's one that I'm not going to pull out to have terribly, terribly often
Okay.
by itself.
Okay.
If I do, it's going to be it's definitely going to be neat now. But it's probably going to be a mixer, which is spendy for a mixer. There's a lot. I think I paid like $50 or $60 for this. I'll have to double check that.
That's a bit much for a mixer.
Yeah, I'll have to double check that. But just because of that, just because of what I spent on it, I probably wouldn't mix it. But yeah, it's pretty high proof for me. I could handle it neat. It does come down to earth a little bit as you get used to it, but God Almighty, I would not want it with an ice ball or
Ugh,
water. No,
no.
thank you.
No, definitely not. Um, you know, other than with water, I was actually really enjoying it without water.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised at how well I enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
same. I thought I was terrified when you were talking about having this, and I was like, I'm going to be miserable this entire time. But I I really like it. I mean, I guess when it comes down to it, Jack was my friend for a long time before I got into this whiskey business, and Jack is still there when I need a pal.
A whiskey business. That's a great play on risky business.
Right? I thought
Um,
so.
Yeah.
I don't know if I came up with that. I'm pretty sure I heard it somewhere,
Oh,
but I'll take credit.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely drink this neat, and I just looked it up. It was about $65.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
an awful
mixer.
lot for me to mix with. I would do it occasionally if somebody, wanted to try it that I had over. I wouldn't have any issue if they wanted to mix it, but for me, I would probably muscle my way through. Like I said, it's the first handful of sips that are kind of rough. But you kind of balance it out, and then you get used to it, and it's not bad at all. What are you thinking as far as a number?
I mean, yeah, I way enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Compared to the other Jack we had, I might like this one more.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember the number I gave the other one, and it's been a minute. Like, I think you said episode 71, so that's been
Yes, I
like
remember
20
what we
something
gave it.
episodes. I think I gave it an 8, right? Or you said a 7? We both gave it a 7.
We both gave it a 7 if my memory serves.
This to me is like an
No, I'm sorry.
oh, no.
Nope, it was different. That was something else. That was Uncle Nearest.
Oh.
So we both gave a 7.
Okay, then this was the 8.5 that I gave, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is okay. This is another 8.5. It's just a different 8.5. The other one was not nearly as high a proof as this boy. So
Yeah, that is for sure. Oh man, I'm struggling so hard. I gave the other one an 8. I can't go as high on this one.
no.
I like the other one better.
Okay, I think I like this one more. And like when it comes down to it.
That is surprising.
Right? I am shocked at
Very
myself.
surprising
I'm
because you
shocked.
do not like high proof stuff.
Yeah. I'm very, very impressed.
I'm gonna go 6.5.
Wow, that's it? I thought you would like this more than that.
No, I'm going 6.5.
Okay.
It's good. It's above average, but it's not. There's a lot more better out there. So
Wow. Okay. Well, you heard it here, folks.
Yep.
On that note, Tyler, what are you thinking? You got anything left? Anything to say to the people?
No, should I?
No, I don't think so.
Ooh, what in the
Oh,
world?
if we have not been recording,
No, we've been recording.
Okay.
We're yes. Oh, that is something I do want to say. I want to take this moment. If you are still with us, you are probably a
fan.
true fan. Yeah, yeah, a fan. Anyway, if you're with us, I want to apologize for the technical issues we've had on the videos having sound. I have not realized that. Megan did a fabulous job. Apparently, we're on episode what, 92? 90 and 91 did not have sound, the videos. I've gone back and added it into episode 91. That was not Megan's fault. That was something I missed. I think it had something to do with the program wanting to update and me telling it no. And so, yeah, apparently it has a mind of its own. So I just realized today that Episode 90 does not have sound, so I will be adding that back in. Depending on what time this stuff uploads tonight. Like I said, I do have to be up early tomorrow to take Bo to get his teethies done. Oh, I forgot to mention he's also getting his spot removed.
Oh, see, he definitely needs to keep that appointment. He'll be
Yeah,
fine.
I know, but
He'll be fine.
That spot's not bothering him. It's not growing, so.
I know, but he's got this, man.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, if I don't get to it tonight, adding sound to that one, I will get to it tomorrow. So I just want to apologize for the technical issues we've been having. Hopefully we won't have those anymore in the future. I can see right now the video is getting my voice. So if it doesn't, I quit.
Okay.
I'm putting that out there.
I don't know how to see if it has your voice or not. You didn't really tell me that. I just trusted you. That right there? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty. I don't know if that was there last time I recorded or not. I'm going to guess it wasn't.
Obviously not. But again, like I said, that's just my fault it's been happening 2 weeks now and I didn't even realize it. So,
oopsies.
Well.
All right, guys. On that note, thank you for sticking around. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you tune in next week. Please take a minute to like, subscribe, rate, review, do all the wonderful things that help us climb the charts. And if you really liked us, head on over to Patreon or PayPal and send us a little bit of monetary donation. We would appreciate it very much.
Yep. Check out our partners. Check out whiskeyandwater.com/store.
Without an H.
Yeah, without an H. So.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We will see you next week. Don't drink and drive. Cheers.